church, we've had a variety of things that have happened over the years, including some difficult things, some wonderful things, some opportunities to reach out to our community in powerful ways. And recently I just realized that probably for the past 5 years, undergirding all of that has been the book Jesus Calling. 5 years ago, some women in our church started reading Jesus Calling and talking about it, and that's when I first became aware of it. And then in 2011, in February, we had probably the most difficult thing that's ever happened in the life of our church to happen. Our senior pastor at that time, Ken Deem, was just a wonderful person, a great leader. He led our congregation to lots of exciting things, especially in reaching out to our community. We ended our work week on a Thursday like we always did, and then on Friday night I got a call that Ken was in the hospital and that he had a brain bleed. By that Saturday night, he died.
I gave Cindy a copy of Jesus Calling because I knew she had been through a really challenging and difficult time. I knew this book, Jesus Calling, had been such a blessing to members of my family and friends, and I just felt like it would be for her.
And the couple of weeks after he died, I picked that book up and started reading it on a daily basis. And I started understanding that it was so powerful in the way it delivered scripture straight to me and delivered it in a personal way. And it helped me see the bigger picture. It helped me to calm down. It helped me to trust. And so I knew right then that it was this powerful tool and that it was helping me. Donna and Steve Rozenburg have been members of our church for a long, long time, and I really only knew them as worshipers. I wasn't very familiar with their story, but one day they made an appointment and came to me and shared with me that all 3 of their children have had difficulties with substance abuse, with other issues, and they really never talked about it before.
At that time, Cindy was nice enough to see us soon, and she talked to us at length, and we came up with a plan that we had done everything basically we could, that it was out of our hands, that it was in God's hands, and to do a lot of praying. And here, by the way, is an idea for you, and that was a recommendation for a small book that she referenced called Jesus Calling. And that's where our story starts, with Jesus Calling.
For whatever situation I was going through, it just worked for me. And then the scripture readings, it would make me go to my Bible and I would read it, and then I would start reading a little after and a little before it. Next thing I know it, I'm reading for an hour and a half on the Bible. And that's where I got in mind. I thought, if this book can do this for me, just think if Cindy could have a basket full of books. So if she thinks it's okay, I'm just gonna get a whole bunch of books and take it to her, and hopefully she can pass these out, and maybe we're not the only people with problems.
Lena Fanau was another lovely person in our congregation that just radiated Christ's love.
My mom was actually the happiest person that I've ever met. She always put other people's needs in front of hers, like whether it was my siblings and I or just random strangers. She loved helping other people.
Lena, somewhere along the way, learned that I had this perpetual supply of Jesus Calling. And so a few years ago, she started coming in to see me, and she would always look kind of sheepish and be sort of shy about it, and said to me the first time, like, could I please have one of those copies of Jesus Calling? And I said, of course, that's what they're for. And so I gave it to her. And then a couple of months later, she came back. She said, Cindy, I gave my copy of Jesus Calling away. Do you have any more? And I said, of course I do. And so I said, let me give you like 2 or 3 this time, and so you can give them away, but you ought to keep one for yourself. And she said, I know. And then a few months ago, I think it was about 6 months ago, Lena went to the doctor and had some pain, and it turned out that they believed her cancer was back and that it was bad, and had to do surgery, and realized then it was everywhere. And so again, in our church, this sudden, really, to us, death of someone we really loved and admired and treasured was gone. There were over 1,000 people in attendance at this funeral because Lena, even in her humble attitude, just made all these friends and connections.
After I heard about my mom's act of giving and how it was just how great it was, I was sort of reminded that I do want to give to other people, and the best way I think you can give to other people is to help and guide them on their journey of faith.
Amy Wicke has been a member of our church since I got here. And I knew her as a vibrant, happy, athletic, competitive woman in our church. One Sunday, right after we opened our new sanctuary, she had a seizure in worship. And it turned out that was caused by a brain tumor. And she fought that brain tumor for 12 years.
She was such a fighter, and she was so strong. She knew she didn't have any control about it, but she wasn't going to let it define her. And she didn't want to be known as Amy with cancer. She wanted to be known as Amy Wicke.
The impact Jesus Calling had on my mom was very immense. I think it was bigger than anyone would have expected, honestly. I think that through what she was going through, it was just very comforting. And it helped her through a lot. It was warming to her every day. She had a new passage to look forward to that would help her get through the day and just stay strong.
The first of this year, my mom's father passed away. We were blessed with a little bit of an inheritance from him, and my dad approached Brent and I about maybe, doing something that would kind of honor my grandfather and the memory of my mom. It really honestly happened so quickly. These amazing Bible study women sat down and knew our mom's heart and where it was with Jesus Calling, and was like, this is what this donation needs to go to.
And they said, we think that maybe we should just use that money to buy as many copies as we can and give them out in Amy's memory to specific places that were like the places where she struggled with, like cancer patients or single moms or people struggling with addiction. And I'm just beginning to see the power of simply giving a book, giving Jesus Calling to people who are going through a health crisis or a divorce or grief or some other kind of struggle. I just start thinking that what if in congregation after congregation, the same thing could happen that happened for us. It helped us individually, it helped us as a community of faith, it's helped us beyond these walls as we started being bold enough to reach out and just share the book with others who might be in situations of need. I believe Jesus Calling is one of those practical tools you can put in their hands in a variety of situations and say, just read this daily. And knowing that it's short and it's simple and it's true and that it's laced with scripture. I've heard stories of people really going into the Word after Jesus Calling led them there. And I think anytime we can get people into the Word in a way that they know equips them for real life, then we've done our job.